Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor. There are several interesting pieces of information I was going to give you today. We're at New Year's Eve now, and there are just a lot of interesting little articles and pieces of information out there to kind of wrap up the year. The first, I wanted to give some credit here. Notorious XRP is at it again. He did a really cool Tron video about Tron and on Bonnets about the XRP Tron base pair that Bonnets did. He took clips from the actual Tron movie and just made a really cool movie about it. So if you don't subscribe already to Notorious XRP, go and check the video out. It's really cool. I mean, he's got some really neat things in here. Moving along. Let me X that out. I've got so many windows open. I wanted to give credit here. This was sent to me by AMP Inc. at AMPIRELAND. Sent me this tweet, which I thought was interesting. And this tweet was from someone who I started to follow because I was told that they put out some really good, well-researched information. As we all know, the banks have been all year talking about how cryptos, it's a Ponzi scheme, they threaten banking and all this different stuff. Well, here it says cryptos threaten the integrity of the financial sector, which is kind of one of the things that the traditional financial media has been telling us. And the banks say, well, and all these banks all year have been keeping credit card payments that are buying crypto from going through and different things like that. Well, cryptos threaten the integrity of the financial sector, and this person says, ha ha. And then he shows you the banks that have been fined over the last few years. Deutsche Bank, $14 billion, fined for doing either illegal or things that where the rest of us would be put in jail, but these guys pay fines to keep themselves out of jail. Deutsche Bank, $14 billion in fines. Bank of America, $76 billion. JP Morgan, $43.7 billion. Citigroup, $19 billion. Wells Fargo, $11.8 billion. RBS, $10.1 billion. BNP Paribas, $9.3 billion. Credit Suisse, $9.1 billion. Morgan Stanley, $8.6 billion. Goldman Sachs, $7.7 billion. UBS, $6.5 billion. But we as crypto buyers, we're just shady individuals, aren't we? Moving along, I think I've made my point there. Next, from XRP Crypto Wolf sent me this. At XRP Crypto Wolf, definite follow on Twitter. As the Indian government deliberates over crypto regulation, positive sentiment grows among exchanges with their government's decision. They have added new features and improved services, such as offering interest on crypto deposits, increased liquidity, and better security. Now, I can't stress enough to everyone out there how huge that it would be if the Indian market, the Indian population is, I think, bigger than most in the world. If they open up this Indian market, these guys, the Central Bank of India has all of this time been total anti-crypto. If this right here happens, this is huge. And so what you're seeing here combined with this week we had the Japanese market. They're getting the regulations finally in place. Just those two things alone will cause XRP to go absolutely crazy if they flip those on. Okay, moving along. This is also XRP Crypto Wolf. He says, at CCX_Canada wants to make XRP a base currency, and they want to know everyone's thoughts on which trading pairs we prefer to have them list with XRP. So please comment on this post letting them know your answer. And so you need to go and find this and give your thoughts on what XRP base pairs that you would like. To me, just make everything in XRP. If you really want to do it efficiently, Get rid of the Bitcoin base pairs and all the others and make XRP the base pair, period, on everything. That's my answer. Next, I wanted to show you all this. If you haven't seen it, this will really excite you going into 2019. This is from Bonnets. They sent this out. Happy New Year, fellow Bonnetians. I don't know if this is from Bonnets or from someone who is a big supporter of Bonnets, because they call it Bonnets Angels. I don't know what that is. But Happy New Year. Special thanks to our Bonnets Angels hosts, participants, and guests of our meetup. Okay, they must be okay, I got it. May all your wishes come true. They've got a link to a YouTube video, and if you go, their YouTube video, actually it is on Binance's YouTube page. So this must be done in conjunction with Binance. But anyway, watch this video to see, I mean, if anybody has led crypto over the last year, it's Binance. And these guys, and actually in this video, something interesting, I saw a couple of cups of coffee with cinnamon in them in this video, and I thought that was interesting. And I also saw, which I was really excited to see, the CEO of Binance started following me on Twitter, so that made my week. I saw that this week. That was pretty cool. So moving along, but I'm a big Binance fan, as you know. Moving along, I got this from MasterControl program on Twitter at @program_control. This was one of the first times I've seen anything from this particular Twitter person. So I don't know if it's an XRP person. I'm assuming I see a lot of XRP things, but I don't know if it's just a general crypto person on Twitter or XRP. Either way, they're retweeting Bank XRP. So give them a look. You might want to follow them as well. But they sent me this. Okay. Now I've mentioned to you a couple of days ago that and I'll go ahead and tell you right now, because I titled it in my video, Ripple XRP and my picks for 2019. I have 3 picks. Like I've told you before, I'm a 99.9% XRP guy. That's what I own. It'll stay that way. But my 2 other picks for 2019, if I had to pick 2 digital assets, it's an easy pick for me. It's Tron and it's Cardano. And this is what you're looking at is the founder of Cardano. He did this video last night, and this video is he was announcing that for the first time Cardano was supported by the Trezor wallet. You know, I talk about Ledger Nano S all the time. It's a less expensive option, and it's the one I use. But Trezor is another hard wallet, and Cardano has just been picked up by Trezor. And he said within the next month or so, it'll be on Ledger, the Ledger Nano S. They'll support it as well. But this is interesting because now you can store Cardano. Now, if you don't have one of those hard wallets, the way you can store Cardano is they've got a desktop wallet called Daedalus, I believe is how you say it. Everything having to do with Cardano, I think, from what I've read, it has to do, including the name Cardano, has to do with like mythology and characters in mythology and stuff like that. And I think the Daedalus wallet, that's what that's named after as well. But again, the reason their symbol's ADA. The reason I'm a big ADA person is that this guy's taken the Ethereum model, and it's like Ethereum on steroids, and it's not mine, whereas Ethereum's mine. And Ethereum's founder, Vitalik Buterin, has said he wants to take it away from being mined and make it proof of stake. I don't know how all that works, but this guy, Charles Hoskinson, has spent the last year or 2 working with engineers and scientists around the world to make Cardano the greatest smart contract platform ever created. And so that's one pick, and the other's Tron. And the reason that Tron's working on a decentralized version of something like YouTube, and they've bought companies that have hundreds of millions of users already to make that work. These are actual digital assets besides XRP with major potential use case. And for that reason, those are my 3 for 2019. Number 1, XRP. I would probably put Cardano at number 2, and then Tron, which is TRX. But anyway, I thought I'd throw that to y'all. I don't talk about other digital assets much, but I do pay attention to them. Moving along. This next thing is just something I wanted to show you. I've told you a lot I believe that within this year, you're going to begin to see more and more digital assets showing up in pop culture. And here's a great example. I saw this on Twitter. This is Litecoin, which I'm not into, but the fact that you have Litecoin on the floor of a UFC ring, that tells you a lot about. This is sponsored by EA Sports. This is what you're going to begin to see, and this is going to go all the way to the Super Bowl, and I'll make that prediction too. I don't know if it'll be, well, yeah, I'm going to make a prediction. I think that in this year's Super Bowl that you're going to see at least one blockchain commercial, and if I was betting, I would say that it's going to be a Grayscale commercial. If I was putting my money on it, it's going to be a Grayscale commercial. Grayscale being the hedge fund that has they have an XRP trust on there, and I've talked about them a lot before. But anyway, you're going to see a major push of digital assets into pop culture this year. That's what's coming. Moving along, I got this from XRP, from X-Men XRP at XRP33. This guy has been like really communicating with me a lot lately, and he came out of nowhere, and he seems to be really enthusiastic about digital assets. And there's nothing I love more than enthusiasm backed by your research and studying what you're into. For me, it's all about enthusiasm and positivity. Once you have done your study and research to understand what you're talking about, then it's all about enthusiasm and confidence. And this guy really is enthusiastic about XRP and digital assets. And he seems like a really good guy. But he sent me this, okay? And this, it was a negative article, had some professor in it talking negative about digital assets. No investment strategies are worse than cryptocurrencies, professor of finance. Well, I wanted to show you this because the overall theme of this article is not necessarily what the point that's being made is. The first thing I wanted to read to you in here is Ken Bodner is a tokenization and blockchain influencer on LinkedIn. This is what he says. I'm predicting Bitcoin to the $2,000 level in the near future. It will eventually drop to a price where it is too expensive to mine because of the energy costs. It was the thin edge of the wedge that ushered a paradigm shift. Like black and white TV, it will be supplanted by something better that is infinitely more fungible. Now, before I move along, I want to say I agree with him partially. The fact that Bitcoin is the black and white TV, he's 1,000% correct. The business of Bitcoin going below 2,000, here's where me and this guy depart. I own one Bitcoin, and the reason I own one Bitcoin is that I believe that we are going to have a wave of euphoria around digital assets that you and I can't even imagine. I think that this will be the internet on steroids. This will be this is the internet of value. It's the internet of money, and for that reason, it will be even bigger than the internet was when it came along. We haven't. They've called this bubble. You can't have a freaking bubble when you have $130 billion, even as high, we've gone as high as like 800 and something billion dollars. That, my friends, is not a financial bubble. Not in a world where there are trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars. We haven't even begun to see the rise of crypto and digital assets yet. And for that reason, this Ken Bodner guy, in my opinion, is way, way off when he thinks that that it's time for Bitcoin to die yet. I don't think so. I don't think we're even close to that. I think that there's going to be a crazy run up in probably a lot of these digital assets, at least a top 200 or something. And I think that we'll have many ups and then crashes, and we're going to see a lot of that. But I think that the real blast off, we're not even close to. I mean, I think that you'll begin to see it probably this year. Okay, next in this article, and I'm going to make a point about this too. They interviewed another guy, and he says, when it's all said and done, according to Drew Farnsworth, partner at Green Lane Design Data Center and Design and Consulting Inc., it all comes down to usage. Now, who else have you heard say that? Brad Garlinghouse, maybe? And he's right, okay? Essentially, unless people use cryptocurrency, then its value will continue to drop. It depends on the uptake in payments and actual utility of crypto, he says to CCN. Crypto really is worthless unless it is used. Bitcoin's main draw is the size of the network. Without effective payment processing, Bitcoin will drop under 1,000 before the end of the year 2019. Well, again, I think these guys are right in general about what they're saying about Bitcoin, but I think that they underestimate the speculation part of this. The speculation part of this, because Bitcoin is the first one, and because Bitcoin was the first one through the door, and it's the first one that's going to be adopted by a lot of these Wall Street firms, it is going to have a mega run up at some point. But in the long term of things, who knows? Bitcoin could be considered the store of value, and for that reason, it is always there. It could also do what they're saying, which is go below 1,000. But I think in the short to mid run, they're dead wrong about it going below 1,000 or being destroyed in value anyway. There's too much hype to come, way too much euphoria yet to come in this for that to happen. You can't have the real euphoria when Wall Street has not even given the real access to the average on the street investor, and the average on the street investor has not been in crypto yet. It's only like Bitcoin, it's like 5% of the population or something like that even knows what it is, and much less invested in it, not to mention XRP. Okay, but I wanted to make one other point before I leave this guy's point. He says that crypto really is worthless unless it is used. I want to give you the example of oil. Not too long ago, I watched something about J. Paul Getty, and there was a scene where J. Paul Getty, who made a fortune getting oil out of the ground and moving and shipping it and all this. Well, there's a scene where J. Paul Getty goes to the Middle East, and he's in the middle of this desert. He gets off a train where he's more or less laid tracks into the middle of this desert. He's meeting with these people in the Middle East whose families have owned this land, and these people don't have anything, but they're in the middle of a desert, but they've got this land. They had no idea that underneath their feet was all this oil that was not being used. So these people were landowners, just like you're an XRP owner. But they did not. But the use of that oil had not been employed, and therefore the value of that oil had not exploded until J. Paul Getty helped them figure out how to get it out and then ship it and sell it. Well, that's where you are as an XRP holder, and I think that is the best. In my opinion, that is the best illustration of where we are, and I think that very, very soon your oil is about to be used. So moving along, 2000. Okay, this is from Hoder's blog. He did a new blog today. He called it 2018, The Forming of Team XRP. And the part of this that I wanted to show you is he was talking about the end of year XRP ledger statistics. Okay, now, and this is the thing that should leave you scratching your head, because it leaves me scratching up my head too. And I think it has everything to do with the over-the-counter market, personally. But look at this. It says this is January 15th. These are the XRP stats from the website that Wheat Say When did. I forgot what the website's called. Let me see if he mentions it here. Anyway, it's the XRP stats website. But anyway, on January the 15th of this year, okay, amount of XRP to be in the top 1% of holders of XRP, you would have to have 100,000. Here on December 29th, that number is 73,000, and you're in the top 1% of all XRP holders. the number of funded wallets. Now, when we talk about funded wallets, an exchange can have one wallet that represents thousands and thousands of people. So the XRP wallet on Bonnets might have 20 or 30,000 different XRP holders. So you need to understand that while we go over this. But look at how it's increased. The number of funded wallets was 1,044,000 on January 15th. That figure has gone up roughly 400,000 over the course of 2018. And the question is this. So the number of XRP wallets, we're supposed to believe that the number of XRP wallets have increased by 400,000 over the course of 2018 while the market has gone down. In other words, people are opening wallets and then they're immediately selling XRP. Is that what we're supposed to believe? Trust me, people, there is tremendous growth going on in this industry, and it's just a matter of time before we will see what's really happening, what is really happening, and it will all begin to flood you'll see the green everywhere before this is over. That's where this is all going. Okay. So anyway, I wanted to read to you the end of Hoder's blog because this is the end of 2018, and I think he's really good at summing things up. 2018 was a year of consolidation, preparation, creativity for those of us supporting XRP. We organized ourselves into loose-knit groups of people to promote adoption. Every creative talent available to us has been leveraged in this effort. And along the way, the community has found time to pioneer the use of micropayments for fundraising. Community developers, Codius hosts, and XRP validator operators have volunteered by dozens, eager to create their own projects, showcase their skills, and learn about building on XRP. And the business that champion XRP's continue to pass noteworthy milestones in their efforts. Ripple's customer list expanded dramatically in 2018, doubling in about 1 year's time. The company has fine-tuned its solutions. Ripple has passed the 300 employee benchmark and are expanding further with new positions advertised on social media. We know that Coil will most likely have a significant update for us in 2019. Will they go live with web monetization? Banking adoption will be supermassive use case that will result in utility-driven demand, and spring-funded projects are specifically targeted to bring increasing levels of XRP liquidity ahead of this point. 2019 is looking very promising indeed. We've heard of some of the traditional investment houses such as Fidelity explore the idea of their retail customers trading crypto. I predict that when these investors enter the market, they will seek out clear leaders in the crypto asset space. And the XRP, championed by the best and brightest Silicon Valley companies such as Omni, Coil, and Ripple, will immediately attract their attention. The next wave of cryptocurrency adoption will not tolerate failed experiments. Rather, it will be driven by fully tested innovations that have proven to the world that they stand ready to deliver on the Internet of Value. Wow, that's a great job by Hodor. So to reiterate, folks, I'll say again in ending this video, XRP, Cardano, and Tron, those are the ones for this year. And I'll end by telling you that you are sitting on your own land and you have oil underneath your feet. It's called XRP. They haven't gotten that XRP completely out of the ground and started selling it yet, but they're about to. And you should be very excited. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button and tell your friends and family that you are standing over the top of oil that is flowing like wine. Thanks for listening.